Joined on Chamber Amplified now by Matt Gilroy of Findlay-Hancock County Economic Development. Matt, thank you for joining us. You're on the road today joining us, so I
That's right.
appreciate you getting up early for this.
Well, I'm in the same time zone in Washington, D.C. at Select USA, but glad to be here, Doug.
So let's talk about a little bit about what you're doing in D.C. for economic development this week.
Sure. So the U.S. Department of Commerce hosts an event called Select USA every year, always in Washington, D.C. And there are companies from across the world that attend. These companies have interest in locating or investing in the United States, and we're here to meet with those folks as well as site consultants and other folks that are here from across the United States as well.
And for a small micropolitan community, Findlay has a lot to stand on when it comes to international business, given a lot of the businesses that are already here, especially out at Tall Timbers.
That's right. So, we have 9 Japanese companies in the area and several companies from Germany and other parts of Europe as well. So, that helps us stand out amongst our peers when we're talking with companies that have an interest in making an investment here.
So you are obviously now in charge of economic development here locally. You've got a long background. This is your first time on the podcast. I don't think we've introduced the Chamber Amplified podcast audience to you yet, but you have a background in this from even further in Northwest Ohio. We like to think we're in Northwest Ohio here in Findlay, but you came from up in the far reaches of Northwest Ohio. Tell us just a little bit about your experience before coming here.
Sure. Yeah. So I've had about 17 years of experience in economic development in Defiance County, and then about 10 years of experience in Fulton County. So, in all, 17 years. Fulton County is right next door to our counterparts up north, right along the border. So I was there for about a decade doing economic development, and in between Defiance and Fulton County, I spent a little time in the nonprofit sector as well, in healthcare and higher education.
So when it comes to economic development in Findlay and in smaller communities like this, or Defiance, or in Fulton County, what have you, a lot of times we're battling to get a piece of the pie outside of Cincinnati, Columbus, and Cleveland, as well as even Toledo and Dayton, Akron, Canton. I suppose I've hit all the larger cities now. That's the furthest I'm going to go with my geography quiz there. What are the elements that we have that make us unique, as you see it in Findlay, when you're at a conference like this, that you can talk about?
Yeah, so Findlay has been recognized as a top micropolitan community for well over a decade, and a lot of times, when I'm talking to somebody from an international company, they don't understand what micropolitan means. So it's a great conversation to talk about, Findlay is a larger city in a rural community and a rural county. And we have the best of both worlds. We have the ability to have a significant workforce to attract a new investment. And we also have, small town living, the ability to work directly with companies and developers to accomplish the things that we need to accomplish in a short order without getting bogged down in the bureaucracy of big city life.
So a couple of weeks ago, I had the annual investor forum for economic development. A lot of interesting topics covered, but the one that really piqued my interest was the future of medical technology and just medical industries in the state of Ohio, and how Northwest Ohio can really play into that. What were some of your takeaways from that? Because I thought there were a lot of interesting points.
Well, so one of the speakers was the president of the Ohio Life Sciences Association. That organization has about 6,000 members from across the globe, and within Ohio as well. And their focus is on attracting membership and investment within the life sciences industry. So that includes agriculture, food and beverage production, pharmaceutical manufacturing, and a variety of other types of industries. So the topic at hand for them was talking about Findlay's designation as a ready community to their association membership. And that was through an application process that we went through in late 2025. Findlay is only the 7th community in the state of Ohio that has this designation. And it was a pretty rigorous process. But at the end of the day, what that means is in their association's eyes, Findlay has something special that they can offer to their membership and also to companies that maybe aren't members but are in that same space in life sciences. So we think there's opportunity to attract pharmaceuticals manufacturers, biotechnology, food production, those types of industries into Hancock County to grow and thrive and invest.
I feel like there's only a ripple effect if we get those types of companies come here, because not only do they provide jobs for the area, but you're going to have a pretty good education to work at a lot of those, especially in some of the engineering parts and everything like that. That means that there's going to be an investment in education locally to help make sure that we're have the workforce to supply to companies like that. I think there's just a why. That's just one element of what could happen with that.
That's exactly right. So one of the things that we made sure to touch on is the fact that Ohio Northern University is very close. The University of Findlay has a pharmacy program. They have 2 of the top pharmacy programs in the state of Ohio between those 2 colleges. So we wanted to try to make sure to promote all of the assets that we already have, and that includes workforce and education infrastructure, as well as utilities and transportation infrastructure. So, if those types of businesses locate here, we need, the logistics companies and other types of businesses that are ancillary to their business to continue to grow and invest and thrive here too.
Well, speaking of investing, we also heard from Ohio Means, or not Ohio Means Jobs, but Regional Growth Partnership, and then the
Jobs Ohio.
There we go, Jobs Ohio.
There we go.
It's early on a Monday morning as we record this. And I've only had 1 cup of coffee, so forgive me on that one. Investment in Ohio remains strong, remains on an uptick from when they first got started. And in Northwest Ohio, certainly seeing its share of it. What are the things that continue to draw eyes to Ohio from potential investors?
Well, there's been a lot of investment in the defense space and technology space. So companies like Anduril, located recently in the Columbus market, Joby, which is a drone company that located and made actually a couple of investments now in Dayton. And what we wanted to showcase is Findlay's unique position to attract suppliers to those types of businesses because of our proximity to Columbus and Dayton, as well as our proximity to Detroit. So kind of similar to what happened with the automotive companies that located here in the 80s and 90s. They located here because they wanted to get in between Honda and Detroit and the big 3. We think there's a very similar pathway for those new investments that are in drone technology and defense technology, because communities around us are experiencing significant investment in those types of fields.
So that spot that we occupy on 75 and 23 still means a lot. You mentioned even the connection to Detroit and even beyond Canada, which kind of reminds me, how much does the Gordie Howe Bridge play into this? Is that going to be an impact for Findlay in Northwest Ohio when that's all fully open? Or is it fully open? I just remember it was getting close.
It's getting close. And I think there could be some opportunities for us in that space as well. And not only Hancock County and the city of Findlay, but also Northwest Ohio in general. Actually, Regional Growth Partnership about a month or two ago hosted an event that they called "Oh Canada, Oh Toledo," and it was an opportunity for Canadian trade officials and U.S. trade officials to get in the same room in Toledo and talk about the potential of what the Gordie Howe Bridge investment could mean for both parties. And I think those conversations are going to continue. And certainly, those types of businesses that make investments and need transportation access between the two countries are going to see and experience some opportunity.
Well, certainly a lot to be excited about, but obviously everything faces headwinds. That's no different than any other time in history. But when you look into the next year or two, what are the biggest challenges that you see when it comes to business development locally?
Well, the national economy is always a main factor in something like that. So we're paying attention to, just what the national economy is doing, the impact of Iran and the oil supply. That certainly is going to have an impact
Mhm.
and create some challenges. So we're paying attention to that on a local basis. I think really what it comes down to is making sure that we have prepared sites, and those sites are, competitive with what other communities have available to them. And there's several steps behind the scenes that we take to make sure we're providing the best, what I call our product, the best sites, and also making sure we're marketing them in the right spaces as well. There's a lot of information out there available to developers and companies, whether they're international or domestic, and we have to make sure we're in the right spaces behind the scenes to get the information to them about our product.
Speaking of information and getting that out there, I think a lot of times there's confusion about what economic development is and isn't. You are not the purveyor of, yes, this company comes, and no, this company does not come. You don't have to sit up with a gavel. Not that I'm aware of. Our officer.
I wish that was the
That would
case.
to me make things a lot easier for you, I would imagine. What is the economic development role and when a company decides to come here or not? It doesn't always touch base with economic development first.
Yeah. So, many times companies, especially if they're local, they may make investment without contacting economic development. And we are very happy about that. And of course, anytime that there's an opportunity to support companies that are trying to make investment, or if they're trying to hire additional people, or if they have some challenges relating to an issue with the community regulation or a utility or something like that, certainly we want to be connected to those types of businesses to try to help them out and support their efforts to grow and invest. And then also, on the flip side of that, as we're trying to recruit new businesses into the area, yes, sometimes they don't go through economic development, and especially in the retail market, they choose a site, choose a property, and move forward without going through our office. That happens often. However, what we try to do is get in front of as many companies as possible, especially those in the industries that we're targeting, because we think it's the right fit for our community. And our efforts are really honed in on trying to prioritize those types of businesses. Hence why I'm here at Select USA this week.
Always out recruiting. So I asked you your concerns for the future, but when you look ahead to the next year or so, what excites you the most?
I think there's a lot of opportunity. Again, it comes down to our product, right? So my wife and I moved here about a year ago from further up north, and one of the reasons that we chose to make the move was simply, Findlay and Hancock County have all of the different types of things that we need an economic development to push forward and grow and convince companies to make investments. And it was a great opportunity for myself in this new role, and then also a great opportunity for her in her role as a financial advisor too. The marketplace here is significantly better than where we lived before.
Well, we're certainly happy to have you here. I'm happy that you've opted to follow the hairstyle code that we have here at the Alliance as we keep that rolling forward. And of course, if people want to learn more about what's going on with economic development, they can also subscribe to the newsletter too.
Absolutely. Go to our website, findlayecondev.com, and sign up for the newsletter.
Very good. Matt, thanks for joining us from Washington, D.C. We'll see you when you get back into the office.
Thank you, Doug. Appreciate it.